There are these two words, religion and spirituality. Do they mean different things? It may depend on what definition one uses. Perhaps, though, they share a common intention, objective, in their most pure state. Whether it's religion or spirituality, at the heart, at the core, the intention is to encourage each of us to operate in an uplifted, benevolent, and kind way. To connect with something deep inside that's beyond the secular day to day. This capacity deep inside. To go beyond anger and greed and violence. To be peaceful and pure of heart. Whatever one's religion is, whatever one's idea of spirituality is, these are universal values: peace, love, truth, honor, balance, and harmony. They transcend boundaries and borders. In truth, wherever one lives, whatever their age or gender or even religion, everyone in the world is crying out for peace. However I label the path, spiritual, religious, is it leading me towards peace? It is emerging this capacity inside to sustain peace. Peace becomes my religion. Peace becomes an expression of spirituality. To not become so caught up in the words, but check, what is the result, the outcome, destination of my endeavor? And is it drawing me into harmony, into peace with others around me, or creating conflict? Beyond the words, I look at my behavior and action. It is a religion. It is spirituality. To be a peaceful soul. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Good evening. Welcome to Interview with the Raj Yogi. we'll try to we'll try to control ourselves. Tonight's topic is
I think it's about being either universally spiritual or spiritual universally, something like this.
universally spiritual. So it was a lovely meditation commentary in terms of reflecting on. Actually, a few things came up in terms of the topic for regular students, at least what touched me today. But listening to the commentary as well was thinking about, yes, what spoke to me to be able to be the kind of being that has a certain vibration that speaks to every soul in this world, no matter what a walk of life, not just anyone and anything. But listening to the commentary, I was thinking about what is going to enable that to be possible. What do I need to experience inside? And so perhaps maybe just since we'll just maybe back things up to a bit more of a broader aspect about universally spiritual, perhaps maybe you could share maybe a bit more about, because I know you talked about being universal as well, if there's something you want to share in terms of what this topic means to you.
I've always found it interesting, this idea of a global citizen, or even just to be a person who others feel comfortable around. They may not speak your language or come from the same culture, but they just feel comfortable around you. And for some odd reason, as you were sharing in the beginning, it's very odd. I don't know why I was remembering that it's been said, and it's a evolutionary or selective thing, if you will, that the young of any species is cute. Even spiders. The young, well, I'm not sure, but the young are cute. And it's an evolutionary thing to make sure that people will take care of them. And there's also just this innocence, this vulnerability. Sometimes we even use the word purity, so that anyone would want to take care of someone with those qualities. So it doesn't matter again whether they speak the culture. I remember when working in the YMCA, if we had a lost child, everybody pitched in. I don't know if we do that for a lost adult, but if we have a lost parent but lost child, it just invokes. So what is that quality that is really touching everyone across the spectrum? And sometimes we use the word purity or pure of heart. That there's certain qualities, and that's a big one, that just seem to be universally appealing. And so when someone is such that everyone feels comfortable around them, the odds are that they have that vibration of one of those qualities that everyone, they're very pure in their intention, they're very respectful, like genuinely from their heart, because then it's a vibration. So that means that whatever I'm doing has to be at quite a deep level for it to get to the, to the area of vibration. I have to do quite an interesting transformation on the self, such that the vibration is according to one of those core qualities that is universally appealing.
Of course, we're talking about the aspects of Raj Yoga in terms of every being being a soul. Is this the reason why it would speak to everyone? Because these are qualities that everyone has. So, regardless of whatever it looks like on the outside, that kind of vibration would really be universally appealing for everyone.
It is something we all have in common. We're all human beings. That is, we're all souls in bodies. So, yes, that would create sort of a place of connection for us. But something else I always found interesting about seeing each other as souls and also myself in that spiritual awareness. I don't just see that, oh my goodness, we're all so similar under the skin, but I actually start to see specialities rather than differences. And this also creates a real connection with others. So that it's not just, oh, we're all the same and we're all cookie cutter, but actually we're all unique. We are all souls. We all belong to the same, if you will, spiritual species. But then I start to, because right now we're seeing differences. When we go physical, it's very easy to see what differences, different color, different language. But when I go into soul consciousness, yes, I see we're all connected spiritually, but I also start to celebrate specialities. So rather than differences, I see what's special about each one. And that is universally very appealing and connects us universally as well.
So, just listen to you share. Is it then just the state of what happens when one is feeling pure, or just that state of purity that one could try to see specialities in others, but it seems to be a certain state that I am in. Otherwise, I could just be telling myself something or explaining to myself something. What is that difference?
Right now, I'm going to make a true confession. So these are very old eyes. So these eyes are starting to not be, they're losing sight basically. So when I sit at the computer and I'm wearing the old prescription, I can kind of make out what's on the computer. It's work though. It's a lot of work. And eventually I even start to get headache, because I'm squinting and I'm having to fill in the blanks and it's a lot of work, but I can make it out. But then I decide one day, I'll try these other glasses, these new ones. I put them, I was like, whoa! And it's so much easier just by having a different set of glasses on. It's so much easier to operate. It's a pleasure. So this idea that we often speak of is, the glasses that we wear, how we're the lens that we look at the world through very naturally. Without work, I start to have different experiences. So when I put on the glasses of what we're calling soul consciousness or spirituality, I could still be in the consciousness of my body, and I could still do a lot of work to try, because I'm fighting through first impression and the visuals. And I could try to see specialities and have some success, but it will be very inefficient. It'll be a lot of work. It won't be natural. My first response will always be physical. And I'll always have to labor to override that in order to get to the spiritual. But if I just put on a spiritual pair of glasses, if I'm really in the consciousness, I'm almost blind to seeing things superficially. And it's suddenly so natural to see what's under the skin and to appreciate what's going on a more connected or universal level.
So, what is it about this word purity is such a sensitive word, But when you hear when it comes to little children, everyone, it's really easy. When you hear it as adults, we got some strange ideas. But this universal appeal, you talk about babies, little children, I was actually it came to mind as well during the meditation commentary. Just something about it. It's but there's a difference between that impact of having that kind of vibration versus it just affects the soul in a certain way. But at the end of the day, everyone wants to move in that direction. So something healing. And so how was that? Do little children have that kind of healing capacity, or is it just more that it's like a temporary upliftment? How is that in terms of what Raja Yoga is about?
What I like about this idea is, of course, we all started off as infants. So that's kind of our original state. So what it's suggesting is that Raj Yoga is simply emerging what's already there. That's where we started, and then we actually change. So we even sometimes use the phrase, I'm unlearning what I acquired. It's kind of a letting go process rather than trying to take something on. I'm trying to let go of what I have acquired. So it's very uplifting, very hopeful. Oh yes, that was my original state, was to be that pure. And it clearly comes out when I think the other day I saw a photo of a baby otter, of all things, hang on to someone's finger. It was so tiny. Oh my gosh, I'm going to melt. Suddenly, like, why are we at war? These ideas come into my head when there's such cute things on the planet. So that's our original state. It's clearly what we love. We melt when we're exposed to it, even as adults. So that means it's really close, very accessible. Raj Yoga is simply trying to pave the way to something that's actually very simple for us and very accessible in our original state. The only issue that comes up is what we've acquired fights back or resists. That's okay. But of course, that which is original, natural, true is going to prevail. So we're simply returning to who we are, to what is true or natural. And again, that's very universal for everyone. We kind of learn. I remember being very young, and it was preteen, the age, and there was a very short period where, and many may have experienced this, we were about, I guess, 10 or 11. And yeah, there was a little bit of, I had moved to a new school, and I think it was the first week or two, a little bit of name calling just because of the color of the skin. It lasted a week or two. After 2 weeks, they're all my best friends. So it was so quick. And I thought, I don't think that was their original. I think they must have seen or heard that somewhere and tried it out, but it's not their original state. And how easily everyone, once they just got to know me, how easily they returned to their original way of seeing things. No one actually saw the color of the skin anymore. So it is extremely, at a young age, it's easier. There's less resistant buildup. But it's really so hopeful to know our original state is to be very connected with each other, to see each other in a very respectful way that is definitely nothing to do with what's on the surface, and that's pure.
So again, with the meditation commentary, really was making me reflect on the journey for oneself, the what needs to be restored. It seems like I need to feel very universal inside in terms of what's going on inside myself. And so, in terms of Raja Yoga, what is this aspect of the role between, we call it yoga, we call it union, in terms of a connection between, our spiritual parent, uh, this aspect of purity in terms of healing. If you could share about, because this word purity and religion and spirituality is such a sensitive topic. It has some violence with it, it has some shame, but that's not at all what you learn in this study.
I think what I like about experiencing myself to be a soul and feeling, okay, maybe that might be the function of God, if you will, is to really encourage and invite and emerge that experience of myself, is that we kind of become universal. Now, it's not everyone's cup of tea. I understand that. But many are actually very hungry to not be limited to experiencing themselves as the package. And I know very often you hear at some point in people's lives, please don't just see me, don't judge the book by the cover. So it's really lovely to have quite a deep and qualitative, not quantitative, but qualitative experience of myself. For someone to see me, the being, and it's not according to anything on the package or limited, but the qualities of the self. And this is really God's speciality. One soul out of the family of souls who's able to do this naturally, automatically, consistently. The power of being seen in such a deep way transforms us. And this has happened to all of us. We all have been affected or impacted by someone's vision on us. It could be your parent. It could be someone else who has a key role in your life, whether it's a friend or a teacher, even someone you perceive as an enemy. The way that this idea of vision is extremely impactful. If someone looks at you with judgment, it can affect you positive or negative. If someone looks at you with regard, it can change how you behave. So this is the idea of our connection to God, is that his vision or drishti on us is consistently pure. Consistently pure. He really sees below the temporary, through the temporary, to the true or eternal me. And this has a magical effect on the soul.
It's interesting because one of the things that comes up a lot is ego. And, everyone has a wall, a wall that has built up for protection, whatever has gone on within each soul's journey. And just when you were sharing, and you were talking about the little baby otter and the melting, I was thinking about this aspect, this vibration, personality, this presence, this persona, even a vision of purity melts ego. And how on earth does that work? Because it's very powerful. I guess in this sense, in this context, it feels like love and pure is very much one and the same.
I think what we start to discover as we experiment with spirituality is that in some ways we've kind of gotten upside down, and our idea of power is very upside down. We sometimes use the term soft power. Here we're using power of purity. It is far exceeds physical power. But it's kind of invisible, so it's easily dismissed. Quite frankly, you see the same principle. We were just having a conversation before coming here earlier today. You see the same principle in physical fitness as well. I was having a conversation with a trainer, and what they were sharing is what we perceive. There's certain physical disciplines that we feel are less powerful than others. So in physical, we feel that lifting very, very heavy weights and Olympic lifting, it's called, this is a strong soul. And we're starting to notice that those who do this heavy weightlifting are starting to take some of what is perceived as less powerful endeavors. And we were sharing that when the part of it is because, of course, they're getting injured, but they take these things and they're dying. There's no weight lift. There's no heavy weights involved. It's simply body weight, but they're dying because there's another power, and it's usually connected to deep, deep stabilizers in the body that are the foundation of movement. So very similar in spirituality. We've got superficial ideas of power. We try and create harmony through war. It makes no sense whatsoever. Because that's our only concept of power is very physical. But there's a much more subtle power that far exceeds physical, and it is spiritual or pure or peace. These soft powers achieve so much. A powerful soul is one who, even if someone insults them or criticizes them, they continue to be loving. They don't fight back. I know this was the original principle of martial arts, is that a powerful warrior is one who never fights, never comes, even though they're incredibly well trained, it's to more master themselves than destroy the enemy. So we're really upside down on this. And a truly powerful soul has this power of purity and has the capacity to create harmony and unity rather than incite war. So whether it's in my individual life or we're talking globally, so I really have to check, what is my concept of power? These soft powers are very universal, universally binding. They do not divide, they unite.
Of course, we started late, so just one more question. Just back to this topic about spiritually universal or universally spiritual. In terms of, especially in the commentary you were sharing about religion is such a interesting word. We had a lovely session on the last weekend. But in terms of this kind of vibration that can really cross over boundaries, how about in terms of it being actually being able to affect the world on a global scale? Is that possible?
I don't just think it's possible. I think it's inevitable and I think it's happening. I think there are souls on this planet who deeply, completely believe in the power of things like peace and love and purity and truth. And they're living their lives this way. And they are having a very quiet but deep impact on the world. And we can see it. I've seen it so many times that, you'll be in a gathering and someone might be identified as the leader. Just externally, they might be the president or whatever the case. But the one who actually has control of the situation is the one with the strongest vibration. So if that vibration is, even though the recognized leader is entrusted legally with power, the one who actually moves things is, for better or worse, the one who has that vibrational power. So if I want to move things in a direction of harmony, then I have to step up. I have to believe that that vibrational power is the ultimate power. It's physically. So I think there are enough who are experimenting with, and when I say vibration, I mean very deep and sincere. At the point, I don't need to talk about it. I don't need to have placards. I just embody it. And this sincerity of presence it just makes sense, would be the most powerful. It's the most authentic.
Well, thank you so much, Sister Judy. Thank you for those joining online. This, to me, is such a powerful, very meaningful topic. Perhaps we'll have a little reflection.
Before I even look at being a peaceful presence in the outer world, the world I need to start with is my inner world. Is my inner world united? No conflict in my inner world, not that my mind says to do one thing, my heart something else, my upbringing another, customs and systems pulling me in yet another direction. Is there full unity inside? And for that, I want to organize my entire inner world around a single focus, a single point, just one. And that depends on the type of inner world I wish to have. If I want it to be a place of comfort, a place of truth, a place I enjoy to be, then first and foremost, I have to be at peace with myself. Focusing on the single point, healing the relationship with myself. I, the being, I, the soul, a reunion with myself, free of ego or insecurity or fear or even lack of self-trust. Learning to understand myself, know my true nature, and even celebrate myself as a soul, laying the foundation internally for a world of harmony inside. Then I can definitely be part of building a world of harmony outside. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, thank you for joining with us this evening. So we want to mention our souls about some upcoming sessions, but I might need Sister Judy's reminder so that we do have some lovely sessions in preparation for Diwali. And this is also a continuation of the inner freedom experience for souls. And so we do have sessions happening at the Central Library, and it's October 12th and October 18th. So October 12th and October 19th. So those are Sundays, and I believe it's 2 o'clock to 3:30. And so it is on our the center's website, calgary.brahmakumaris.ca. I think the website name has changed a little bit, but if you go there, it'll take you to the website. And then we have our very special Diwali program at Scarborough, and that's on October 26th. And so I believe it's 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. Again, that's on the website. And it'd be lovely for you to register. But if you do not, feel free to just drop by. So all those details are on the website. And I believe there are, again, ongoing Raj Yoga courses, and we really do encourage that. We really do encourage the drop-in meditations, either on site or online. It's, yes, we hear and we speak about it, but it's really the experimentation that really matters the most. And if you have any questions or any other sessions, please let us know. Thank you for joining with us tonight. Om Shanti.